I want us to begin by understanding the full meaning of IELTS. What is the full meaning of IELTS? Pardon? International English Language Test. What about this? Okay, the plural version. Yes, sir. Ah. What's right an exam you don't know the meaning? Alright, so IELTS means International English Language Testing System. International English Language Testing System. It is one of the most recommended and requested English language proficiency tests across the globe. There are several other English language proficiency tests. We have the likes of Duolingo, PTE, SAT, ACT, GRE, GMAT, TOEFL. There are so many, but IELTS is quite popular across the globe. So the IELTS test has different types. There are different kinds or types of IELTS. Just for your knowledge, you have to understand the type of IELTS you need for whatever application you're filing. We have IELTS to reunite with your spouse who is resident in the UK, for instance. It is totally different from other types of IELTS. It is called the UKVI Life Skills A1. That particular type of IELTS has just two testing areas. You're speaking and you're listening. And that's all. So most times in 10 to 15 minutes you're done. No, is it 15 minutes? It's a very short period that the test is conducted. You just get to ask you questions and you respond, and then you also play an audio for you to listen and write out what you hear, that's all. Then, for that type of IELTS, there is no such thing as grade. You know, on Friday we were talking about band scores, 4 points this, 5 points that. But for that particular type of IELTS, there are two things involved. It's either you pass or you fail. So it's a very simple IELTS test. Now we also have the academic IELTS test. It is strictly for applicants who intend to study abroad. Academic IELTS test. But there's a little twist about the academic IELTS test. If you are a nurse and you wish to work in any of the countries outside your native or home country, you don't write a general training IELTS test, you write academic. Please, do you understand this? So nurses can use academic to apply for jobs outside their country. And academic is also used specifically for study abroad. Then if you wish to apply for jobs and you are not a health practitioner, you are specifically meant to write the general training IELTS test. The general training IELTS test. It is the IELTS test that is used to apply for job anywhere in the world. Alright, so let's understand that the IELTS test can be written in two different formats. You have to choose the one that is most convenient for you. We have the computer-based test and we have the paper-based test. The computer-based test allows you to exercise your computer know-how, literacy expertise. So if you are not conversant with the system, please don't go for it. You'll be gambling with your 120k or 110,000, depending on what you're writing. So it's strictly done on the system. When you're taking your listening test, as you hear your answer, you type immediately, while the audio is still playing. When you're doing your reading test, and you find your answer, you type to write. When you're doing your writing test, your essay, your letter, or your report writing will be done on the system. And remember, everything is timed. So if you're not fast on the system, before you know Jack, the system goes off, because it goes off once the time elapses. And then it helps you to submit without your permission. Alright, so there is also the paper-based test. The paper-based test is done using pen or pencil on paper. So that's the one you get to scribble whatever you can. You're right. You're not going to be penalized for terrible handwriting. But make sure your writing is legible. Then the examiner be able to read and understand. Because you are not going to be there to explain to the examiner, this is. So they will read and understand. So make sure your writing is legible, so understanding is readable. Then, in the writing test, during your reading and listening test, you're free to make use of pencil. Right? So when you write, if you have any reason to erase, use your eraser and pen. But during your writing test, please you're using black pen.
Black?
Yes, please. So you just have to be very careful with whatever you want to write. You must be intentional, be careful.
During the reading?
Writing. When you do your essay and letter or report writing, depending on the type of language you want. So you're using black pen, please note that. Then for your reading and listening test, you are using pencil. And I always advise people, get up to 3 pencils, sharpen them. And if you're buying pencil, buy the one that they need is very strong. You know what we have right now in this country? Before you know Jack, yeah. And during IELTS test, there is no time. In IELTS test, time runs faster than normal. So if you're not careful, you have 20 minutes more. You've not started soon. So get as much pencils as you can, sharpen them, 3 is enough. Then get your eraser. I saw one you have there. On the day of your exam, please remove the wrapper. Yeah. Exactly. Because the wrapper is a potential malpractice material. Do you understand? So you have to unwrap it. Go with it. It has to be clean. So whatever you want to erase, erase. When you write, or while you're writing and you get, drop that one, pick another. There's no time, right? So that's the way to go. Your paper-based test allows you to write, and you can read as fast as you can, depending on you. If you're a first writer, you meet up with time. If you are taking on the paper-based, please note that your result comes out 13 days after your exam. The 13 days begins to count on the day you write your listening, reading, and writing test. You may have your speaking test earlier, maybe a day or 2 days before LRW. But it doesn't begin to count from the day you have your speaking test. It begins to count from the day you completed your LRW. You understand this? You may also have your LRW on a day and your speaking test comes afterward. It doesn't begin to count on that day of your speaking test. That's the day of your LRW. Please do understand this. If you are signing up for the computer-based test, your results comes out 3 to 5 or 7 days after. 3 to 5 or 7 days after the computer-based test. So when you write your IELTS exam on the system, after three days, just tell someone, check. Check. Ask the person, what's my overall? Yes, 7. You can just hug the person and do whatever you have. Okay, so these are the different aspects of the IELTS test. Please always go for the one you are very comfortable doing. Do not pressurize yourself by making a wrong choice, right? The IELTS test has 4 different testing areas. So we have the listening, we have the reading, we have the writing, and we have the speaking. Now the listening test runs for 40 minutes. There are 40 questions that you have to answer. And each question carries 1 mark. Then there are 4 sections of the listening test. Then the reading test lasts for 60 minutes. There are 40 questions for you to answer. Each question, of course, carries 1 mark. And then there are 3 long passages. 3 long passages. I'm emphasizing on long passages. Then the writing test lasts for another 60 minutes. Now the writing test is divided into 2 parts, which we call task 1 and task 2. The task 1 is meant to last for 20 minutes, while the task 2 is meant to last for 40 minutes. Your task 1, you are required to write a minimum of 150 words, while the task 2, you are required to write a minimum of 250 words. Now for your task 1, if you're so brilliant and flawless, you're going to be scoring or getting 33.31% of the total rate from the whole test. Then your task 2, if you're so smart, the highest you can get would be 66.69%. So this means pay more attention to your essay. Now let's go to the speaking test. The speaking test lasts for a period of 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so within the 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to be speaking to cover 3 different parts. And after that, that's it for the speaking test. So let's look at the 4 areas. Your listening test, an audio would be played. If you're going for the paper-based, the audio will be played, and then of course you will be given the question booklet. The question booklet contains all the 4 sections, and it's also the inscribed version of what the audio will be saying. So you're meant to read alongside listening. It is only in listening test that you get to do 3 things at the same time. It is a must. You have to do 3 things at the same time. If you fail to do any of those 3 things, you miss your answer. So during listening test, what are you supposed to do? You're meant to listen, you're meant to read, and you're meant to write at the same time. So, first and foremost, before the audio begins, you must read the instruction and know what your answer should look like. Whether it should be in 1 word, or 2 words, or 3 words. If it requires a number, you have to know that. So read the instruction first. After reading your instruction, before the audio begins to play, you're meant to read the questions. When you read the questions, you have a first-hand understanding. And you also know what to expect from the audio. Because if you do not read the questions, you won't know when the audio is treating question 1. You might just be waiting. And before you know it, that is the end of the section 1. You may now transfer your answers. You've not written it. Okay? So read the questions, read the instructions. Then as the audio begins to play, you should also listen. Listen attentively. Give listening test 101% concentration. If you drift away, you miss an answer. And when you miss an answer and you try to pause the activity to think of what you have missed, you miss more. So when you miss an answer, let it go. It's a flowing stream. It doesn't come back. Because listening test is never played twice. Once. So it's only at the end of that section when the audio will announce to you that that is the end of section 1. You may now transfer your answers. That's when you begin to think of something that may have been said at that point. So if you are lucky, you might guess right. Alright? So, you listen attentively, 101% concentration, then read alongside the audio. The audio does not and will never use the exact words on your question paper to treat any question. If the question says, my father and mother will be traveling to the UK in 24 hours. My father and mother will be traveling to the UK in 24 hours for dash. The audio will tell you that. My parents will be embarking on a trip to the United Kingdom on a 2-day vacation. What's the answer? One word answer. Vacation. So when you've read the question and you're waiting to hear my father and mother, you're not here. They will paraphrase. Father and mother is what? Parents. You understand that? So you have to listen attentively, you have to read the question, then once you hear your answer, right. That's what you must do. Do not say you want to wait to listen to the audio to the end. Maybe the first 4 questions. You want to, I don't want distraction, I want to listen. Yeah, listening. You close your eyes, you don't want distraction, you're listening. At the end of the 4 questions, it will now tell you, before you hear the rest of the questions, you have some time to read questions 6 to 10. When you open your eyes, you are forgetting before. So please, write. So as you hear your answer, write. And some persons might want to write their answers on the question paper first. So they will transfer at the end of the test. It's a very big risk. Audio will tell you during your practice. In the real IELTS test, you'll be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers. Don't bank on that 10 minutes. There's no work on it. So when you write your answers on the question paper, and you are hoping to transfer it at the end of the whole listening test, if that time does not come, you will be able to transfer. When the coordinators announce to you, please stop writing. Okay, don't write. If you write, if they tear your script, if they refuse to collect your paper, that's up to you. So what do you do? Transfer directly onto the session. Remember you're using a pencil, right? So if there is any mistake, you can easily erase and correct. So always write directly. It's only when you are perplexed, when you are a little confused about what you heard, you can scribble on the question paper fine, so that you can easily move that one to the answer sheet. It's safer. So those are the things you're meant to do during your listening test. Please do not make the mistake of hoping to write later. Now let's go to the reading test. What happens during your reading test? You'll be given your question booklet, which would contain 3 different sections. A lot of people debate that reading has 3 different sections. The first section, you are meant to spend 17 minutes. The second section, you're meant to spend 20 minutes. The last section should have 23 minutes. Overall, you're having 60 minutes, right? Now, it is fact, or it is confirmed that section 3, that's section C, is usually the most difficult amongst the others. Now, some persons say, where do we begin? We'll start with the most difficult part and come back to the easy ones. Chief, what will you do?
I'll start with the easy one.
The easy one. Why no?
Because I'm sure of the answer.
Oh, you are sure? You are the one that set the question.
Because it's easy.
Okay, okay. But where will you begin with? The difficult one. Why now?
By the time you are done with that, we can always come back to do that.
And then do it fast. And get your answer fast. You start with the easy one. Why?
Because I think if you start with the difficult ones, you'll be more tensed by the time you get to
The easy one is going to open your brain.
Oh, really? Easy one, open your brain.
I always start with the middle self.
Oh, really?
I start with the hard one, I'll be
One of
tense.
those.
I start with the difficult one, I'll be more tense. Then, I start with anything difficult, I will be tense. I won't be able to even reach the easy one. Time as well. I look like a graduate. I didn't take more time. When I do something, I prefer to start with the so I get it over.
Sound check. 1, 2. Okay, sorry, let's. Some persons will want to hear what you think.
Really?
Yes, we are live. So please, why would you go for the easy ones first?
I will go for this one because I think, to me, if I start with the most difficult one, I will be tensed. I'll spend a lot of time debating on so many things in my head, and so I think I prefer the easy one. Let me just start so I will finish those ones fast.
Thank you so much. You be tensed, normal. So, what's your own view about it?
I'll start with the easy ones first.
Why?
Okay, so you help manage time better.
All right. Ma'am, what would be your own take?
I'll start with this one.
Why?
Just for time management.
Madam, same thing for you? The easy one first? Okay. Yes, to begin with the difficult part. Like you said, I'm sure of my answer. I don't know how sure you give of your answer, but the only reason it is more advisable to begin with the easy one is because each question carries a 4 mark. Right? There are 40 questions. So each question carries a 4 mark. So it is only wise. It is wise for you to scoop in as much as you can from the easy sections. Right? And like they said, time management also matters in IELTS. IELTS test. The best way to go about IELTS test is applying the practice of the relay race. We know relay race. Once you get on your mark, get set, go. Everyone begins on his or her fastest pace. That's the only way to finish your reading. If not, I tell you, 60 minutes is like 6 minutes. I can ask anybody that have taken IELTS test. That's the way it runs. So, then secondly, another reason you should begin with the easy part is because education will tell you that learning should begin from known to unknown. From easy to where? Complex. When you start with the difficult part, you know how mathematics works. When you try to solve a question and you're not getting it right, you start having hot. You start having very tense system. You want to you drop it. But when you solve the first one, you get it. Solve the second one, you say, oh boy, my head is here. So you want to keep solving it, right? That's the same thing you should do when you're taking your reading test. Begin with the easy parts. Be very careful. Be very attentive. Get your answers. Move on. The best advice we have gotten from our teachers. Sorry to every teacher. I have my reservations for teachers. The best advice we've gotten from teachers is do not spend so much time on. When you try to solve a question and you're not getting it, do what? Go to the next one.
You missed
the advice. Yeah? I tell my group, if I see my teacher, they will tell me where I am the future, the lead up to go. They'll still explain that thing to me. Says there, those leaders are still there. Alright, so please, that's it about your reading test. Let's go to the writing test. For writing test, you have 2 tasks. Alright, so the first one, you are meant to take on either letter or report. It will be letter if you subscribe for the general training test. The general training test is for what?
Job.
For job. But if you're going for study, your task 1 is not letter. Your task 1 would be report writing. We know the types of letters we have, right?
Yes.
We'll come to that later. Now, so task for the report writing, you will just be given either any question that has to do with graph. It can be line graph, it can be bar charts, pie charts, table, infographics, histogram, pictograph. It could be anything.
That's for study.
That's for
That's what I asked you. Very good.
yes, for study.
Okay.
For study. Don't worry yourself. Okay. Now, for anyone taking on the
Some example, maybe if the question says, a dear friend, or say something to a friend, you know, it's an informal, because I want to understand, if you said a complaint or a letter for job, you now know in your head that it's a formal letter, or how?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, just as you asked and also answered the question. You were able to also answer the question. So you read the question. If it is talking about friends, you know it is letter to your friend. I know the type of letter it is, right? If it is for job, for blah blah blah, I don't want to go into it now. We'll get to that stage. So you know that it is the official kind of letter, right? So you will now write following the template of that type of letter. You don't apply the characteristics of the informal to your formal letter. I don't know if you understand me. So you have to determine the type of letter it is and then treat it accordingly. Now, when you're writing your task 1, you're meant to spend 20 minutes. When you're writing your task 2, you're meant to spend 40 minutes. For those going for academic or those going for study, I usually advise very strongly, please do not make the mistake of starting your writing test with your task 1. Please, don't make that mistake. You will shoot yourself past books. So it is safer to begin your writing with task 2. When you begin with the report writing for someone going for study, you would unconsciously, you'll be so engrossed in or with whatever you're writing, you end up spending 30 to 35 minutes. You can't help it. And by the time you spend this amount of time treating your task 1, which is targeted to have a minimum of 150 words, and this is the highest you are supposed to get if you are very intelligent. Now, how much time do you have left? You have just about 20 to 25 minutes.
I like the word. If you're very intelligent.
If
Very smart.
you are very intelligent, you have between 30 to 25 minutes. Right? And remember, this guy that you're leaving 30 to 25 minutes for has the chunk of the mark that you're writing to it. Right? So please, always begin your writing with the essay part. It pays you more.
So for job,
Then for those writing the general training test, you can choose to begin with your letter. It doesn't really matter.
so we're still writing the 2.
You must write
Either
letter
job
and essay.
or-
If you're going for job, you must write letter and essay. You have 2 tasks, right? If you're going for study, you have report writing and essay. It's not optional. You're not asked to write whether this or that. You must write it. And the whole time given to you is 60 minutes. Now let's look at this. 150 words minimum. What does that mean? Man, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. What does a minimum of 120 words mean? 150 words. What does it mean?
And you must write, it must not be lesser than 150 words.
It mustn't be less.
Yes, than 150 words.
But it can be what?
160 or 150.
It can be what?
150 words, 5 words for 160.
Anything above 150. If you write 149 words, you lose mark. Do you understand this? Now for the essay writing, 250, same explanation. Good. Now you can see the grades allotted to each. Now let's go to the speaking test. Speaking test is usually the platform where you get to blow all the grammar you know, where you get to respond to questions asked, where you get to face someone you might never have seen. But sometimes you could be lucky. Coincidence can happen. You meet someone you used to know, and you be catching up while having a speaking session. And of course, you know what your mark will be. 8 points. That's give it to you. Alright, so during your speaking test, between 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to be speaking, and you'll be covering 3 different parts. You'll be asked questions bordering around yourself or your immediate environment. You'll be asked questions on a particular topical issue on a paper called Q card. So you have to address that issue. You have to describe such scenario, and of course, it must be something that has happened in the past. Then, lastly, the third part, you will then be asked some supporting questions, and after that, that's it. You're done. So you just have to go back home and pray.
You said the speaking test usually happens first, right?
It's not a fixed practice.
Okay, so anyone can come.
Yes, I said what I explained that day was because you're going to be registered early enough, you definitely speak before your LRW, listening and writing. But if you register the week to the exam, you will most likely be speaking either the same day or after that LRW. Right, so that's what matters. Okay, so these are the 4 areas of the IELTS test. So please choose wisely if you want to go for the paper-based or the computer-based test. If you have limited time to provide or submit your English language proficiency test results, then you decide on the one you want to go for. If you have very limited time. And if you have ample time to provide that, you might want to go for the paper-based. Okay. Now, of the 4 testing areas, writing test is foundational. It's a very rudimental part of the IELTS test that helps you to prepare for all others. Now, I also explained that when you enroll or register for the exam, you will have this, and this in one day. Listening, you have them in one day. Especially if it is paper-based. You have these 3 in one day only. And then this is the way it comes. It comes in this order. The first thing you'll be having that day will be your listening test. When you're coming with your head cool, everyone is calm, they will load the listening test. So everyone will be given headphones, right? You will be the one to set the volume to the best level that will enable you to hear every single sound. But I advise, don't make it so loud to affect your hearing. Set it. And then sometimes relate with my food. They might come around. So it is strongly advised. Check the states of the 2 ears if they are functioning properly. Check. But sometimes you might check the 2 ears and they're working. But once the audio begins, one ear will just at that point you want you to make sure the exam does not continue. There's no jet and you are paid for it. Nobody will play it. So you need to call the attention. Make sure either they fix it or they replace it. That will help you. If you choose to manage, like you manage a lot in Nigeria, you choose to manage it, then
Sorry, when you call for the attention, not to distract, since you're not the only one.
It's better to distract everybody.
Okay.
You all pay the same amount. But if you don't want to distract you,
No, I'm just.
Then you register them.
if you have rough money, you know, it's MC. Okay, so these guys will come in after your listening test for 40 minutes. They will retrieve the question paper from everyone. Please, the way you go for the test, be the way you return. You are never allowed to go with any of the question papers. So after the listening test, they'll move around to retrieve the question from everyone, and after that, you'll be given your reading question booklet. And you'll be told to begin. Now, you'll be given an answer paper. This answer paper has two pages or two sides. Sometimes it could come this way. This will be numbered 1 to 20, 21 to 40. Then you have all ruled. Then, so I think it's also color coded, green and orange. The first part will be green, the other part will be orange. Now you will see listening test, written. Then the other part you see reading, written. Do you understand this? Please, do not answer the reading question on the listening part. Do you understand this? It is written, but you must see one Nigeria who is so something family issue. The person will now see that is for reading and you'll be answering listening test on it. Automatically, everything is wrong. Right? So after your listening test, they'll come around and retrieve the question from you and still leave the answer sheet with you. Then give you the reading question. Why would they leave this answer sheet with you? Do you know why? Because the back has what? Space for reading. Right. So after the reading test, which will last for 60 minutes, the team will move around again and retrieve both the reading question and the answer paper. You're done with that at that point. Then the writing test question and answer papers will be distributed to everyone. For the writing test section, you'll be given the two questions, the two parts, the two tasks will be on the same question booklet. So it is left to you to choose which you would like to begin with.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes, please.
You said we use pencils, right?
For listening and reading.
Listening and pencils. Okay. The one pen.
Okay. Now the LRW is done alongside over 100, 200, 300 test takers in one hall. You might be assigned to a hall that is so massive. You see about 500 test takers in that hall. It is only that wanted that one. So a lot of people. So you would have to focus on why you're there. Like the listening test. When you go for the listening test session, you will realize that Nigeria can be quiet. Everybody will just focus. If you breathe hard, the other person will hear. Alright? So please don't distract yourself by yourself. Just pay the much required attention. Now, you do that alongside the numerous test takers. But you see the speaking test, it is one-on-one. It's just you and the examiner, that's it. Alright? So let's begin. Today we shall begin with the writing test because it is the foundational part of IELTS. Alright, my test begins. I want to test us. Please don't look into your notes. Don't look into your notes. Madam. Thank you. The listening test lasts for how long? Be coming down. No worries. Thank you.
60 weeks.
I might ask you a question. Okay. The listening test lasts for how long?
60 minutes.
60 minutes. So? The listening test lasts for how long, please?
40 minutes.
Final answer?
I can't remember. I'm test sorry. Can't start
The listening test
explaining all
lasts for
this.
how long? Final answer. I wanted to say it's complete.
40 minutes.
40 minutes. Final answer? Listening test lasts for how long?
40. It's 40 minutes.
Are you the one of the IELTS test? Alright, final. Listening test lasts for how long? 40-45 minutes. That's half time for soccer game.
You have to explain. That's 40 questions. 40.
The listening test lasts for 40 minutes, right? How many questions do we answer in listening test? Madam, how many questions? 40 questions. Now let's go to a writing test, which we're about to begin.
Let me just answer like that.
Please, don't leave it to your minutes. The writing test is divided into how many parts? 2. The first one is called what? Reading. And the second one is called what? Writing. I want you to be calm. So, like I said, if you are calm, there is no question you will not be able to answer. The writing test is divided into how many parts? 2 parts. The first part is called what?
That's one.
Task 1. Ah, it was confused. I was not playing again. Task 1 lasts for how long?
20 minutes.
Are you asking me? Okay, you're responding?
Lasts for 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yes.
Final answer?
And 150 words.
Hi. These are people that fly in the classroom before teacher will come. They have studied the topic ahead of time. Okay, so it lasts for 20 minutes. And the minimum number of words you're meant to write is 150. Please take. The second part of the writing test is called what?
Task 2.
Task 2. It's called what, please?
Task 2, which is the same writing.
It's called what, please?
Task 2.
Again? No, I will see. While we are preparing for writing, reading, and listening, we're also preparing for speaking test. And your speaking test performance is largely dependent on your pronunciation. The second part of the writing test is called what?
Task 2.
Thank you. Please pronounce this word.
Task.
Tax.
Hmm?
Task.
Tax.
Please pronounce this word.
Task.
Task.
I want to hear it again.
Task.
Task. Task.
It's called what?
Task.
Can we say task?
Task.
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 Alright, so that's the pronunciation. Okay. It's called task 2. And you have also given me the minimum number of words, 250 words, right? Please, let's understand that task 2 has higher score. Please, I will need you to pay keen attention because you are beginning with task 2 right now. Please pay attention and try to grab as much as you can from what we're going to do today. Okay, so let's begin. Task 2, which is called the essay writing. Remember, you're going to write up to 250 words in a book, don't write less. The IELTS writing test, task 2, you are meant to show advanced expressions. Advanced expressions. So let's understand what these advanced expressions are. What does advanced, when something is advanced, what does it mean?
It means advanced English.
No. How about you will be coming down? And I give you the mic. Take a deep breath first. You don't rush the answer. What does advance mean? Just advance. When something has advanced, what does it mean? Thank you. To an extent, it has progress. But your answer of that word is in the verb interpretation. Verb. Why did I say it's a verb? Who knows? I'll take us back to primary school now.
It's a movie, it's an action word. It's a movie.
Somebody is. Man, no, please.
It's an ongoing thing, it's an action word.
It's
doing
an
a
action.
progressive thing.
Thank you. It's an action. What does it mean? Practically. What does it mean? What does it mean practically? Practically. What does it mean?
Practically, a higher level of a thing.
Advance. When I say advance, what does it mean practically?
The thing has grown. Next level. It has
No.
progressed.
Happening currently.
No.
More action.
It's an action, but practically. When I say advance, what does it mean?
Move.
Advance. When I say advance, what does it mean practically?
It means
Intensity of the
it
action.
advance. If you say what does it mean practically, it means a lot of things practically to me.
Okay, please.
If in a different sense you say advance, I can advance you anything. It's an action I've taken to advance.
It means you are either moving.
Yes, either
Thank
moving
you.
on,
Practically.
moving forward.
Thank you. Practically. Advance. Someone tells you advance. Advance. Right?
Keep coming.
That's what it means.
Moving.
Thank you. Then approach. What does it mean? Practically.
Practically.
To also move. I'm giving us synonyms. It has started. Okay. Now, in IELTS, advance, when something has advanced, it has moved to a different level. It could be positive, it could be negative, right?
Yes.
This means in IELTS, when a question is asked, don't think about it straightforward. If you want to do well in IELTS, never think of a question just in its casual look. Open it in your mind, open it. Think outside the box, think outside the regular. Think of the negative and the positive of that thing. It will help you to be more creative in whatever you're writing. Please, do you understand this? Now, IELTS wants you to show off advanced expressions. Advanced expressions means do not use the regular expressions, right? Use something a little or a lot more English. A lot more English. So if I say my brothers and sisters will be coming to me. My brothers and sisters will be coming to me for a short holiday. My brothers and sisters will be coming to me or to my house for a short holiday. How can you express this in an advanced manner? My brothers and sisters will be coming to me or to my house, be coming to my house for a short holiday.
I say my siblings will be visiting me.
You can't complicate it. Let's try.
My siblings will be visiting me.
In 2 days' time, in 2 days' time, important information for what I said. Yeah? You are the one that described 2 days as short. Please, thank you so much. With that, you've gotten 55% from that paraphrase.
You can ask question.
Yes. My brothers and sisters will be coming to my house for a short holiday.
My siblings will be spending their vacation at my residence.
Please say that again.
My siblings will be spending their vacation at my residence. Their short vacation at my residence.
Okay? It's Nigeria, that's why we have problem. Everybody is very smart. You just corrected it. Okay. Thank you. Nice attempt. I'll give you 80%. Please, can you give us an advanced expression for that? My brothers and sisters will be coming to my house for a short holiday.
My siblings will be visiting my house during the holidays.
%60. My brothers and sisters will be coming to my house for a short holiday.
My siblings will be visiting me for a period of time. They might stay for 1 week or 5 days.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm giving you 55% because you gave me your own information. All right, please give us an advanced expression of my brothers and sisters will be coming to my house for a short holiday.
My siblings will be visiting me this holiday for a short period. So my siblings my siblings will spend their holiday with me for a short period.
60%.
I'm expecting my siblings this the period of their holiday. I'm expecting my siblings for this vacation period.
55%. Now, here is the task. My brothers and sisters will be coming to my house for a short holiday. How do you express this in an advanced way? Okay, this can still stay. Or
Briefly.
Vacation.
Please, can we express this?
My siblings will be visiting my residence
for
for a brief holiday.
Vacation.
vacation.
You understand this? My siblings will be visiting my residence for a brief vacation or on a brief vacation. IELTS wants you to change certain words and bring in their synonyms. IELTS wants you to do that compulsorily. They want you to do that. So please, IELTS expects you to show off advanced expressions as much as possible, because they feel that this is the test that helps them to identify who you are intellectually. This is the test that helps them to determine how exposed you are. This is the admirable from the brilliant. Do you know how many people that have their money in this country? They have all the requirements, but pass IELTS is a problem. This test has kept a lot of nurses and doctors back here in this country. Here in the family. So this test is not an English test. That is the misconception people have about it. It's not an English test. It's an intellectual exam written in English language. I hope you're aware there is the French version of IELTS. There is the French version. But this exam tests your intellect. So they want to see your spontaneity. They want to see your creativity. They want to see your problem-solving skill. Your problem-solving skill on the spot, because you never expected a question that you were supposed to solve, right? You just go to the exam hall. Whatever question that comes your way is what you're solving. It's not like the university program where you're giving course outline. You go and study so hard on all of those because you are sure that questions will come from, right?
Some lecturers will still pick up on it.
Huh?
Some lecturers will still go out of it.
Some lecturers will still go out of the box and give you something that will require your own thinking. Such questions don't expect any particular theory or ideology, right? They want to see how you're able to solve that question. That is exactly what IELTS is all about. Those are feel it's an English exam. Let me ask you. In English, you must have done things about nouns, verbs, pronouns, parts of speech, metaphor, and oríṣiríṣi. IELTS does not ask you any of those questions. It's none of your business. They will just throw a problem at you. You have to identify that problem, you have to solve that problem, and you have to make recommendation about that thing. That is IELTS. So what you need to do is open your mind. Open your mind. There is no tension anywhere, unless you want to, according to Gandhi, you want to tension yourself by yourself. Right? There is no tension anywhere. When a question comes, read that question. Don't look at that question as a question, as in the way it appears. Look inward. There is something that question is looking for from you. Right? Think outside the box and solve that problem. It will be a challenge. So to begin, IELTS says give us advanced expressions. And for you to show off advanced expressions, you have 3 things you want to look at. First, we have what we call linking words. We have what we call sequencers. And then lastly, we have what we call idiomatic expressions. Idioms. All right, so let's begin. What are linking words? What are linking words? You've got an idea?
Words that join 2 sentences together.
What's that?
Join 2 sentences together.
Thank you. Madam, do you understand this? Linking words. Link. Words that connect two or more ideas together. Words that connect two or more ideas together. Do you have examples?
And, and,
Like,
or,
Or
with.
with.
Don't use any of those things in IELTS.
You want to tell your own? I heard like.
like,
I heard like. I wanted to come and hear clearly. Who's like is even an informal word you shouldn't bring in IELTS. It will drop your mark. So, examples of linking words.
However,
Thank you, advanced. Another one.
more so.
Thank you. Another one. Help us now. Yes, ma'am. She has said the one you wanted to say. Aha! Furthermore, but this is not. It's not a linking word.
However,
Thank you. She said that. All right. Now, most of us know some linking words. We know them. We know them. But there's something about IELTS. Now that I've started showing you do's and don'ts, pros and cons of IELTS, you are beginning to have a rethink of what you know. You are trying to be careful not to bag out. This is IELTS. You must be careful. You must be very intentional with whatever you're saying or whatever you're writing, because it counts. Every word you must use should live. Every word you're bringing in should be very accurate in the context you are using that word. Because if you apply what the English call malapropism, you are blowing what we call ambiguity. And when ambiguity comes in, the examiner that is marking your script may choose to use the other meaning of that expression to read meaning into what you have written. Whereas you wrote it with a different understanding. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if the examiner uses the other meaning, it may not make sense in that context. So that examiner will mark you down. And it doesn't mean that the examiner is wicked. I hope you're aware. You gave the room for the examiner to choose whatever. But if you use a word that is very precise in a context of using it, you don't give any alternative. Do you understand? Now, linking words, like he has correctly defined, are words that are used to either join, connect, or bring together two or more ideas to become one. Do you understand this? So you use linking words to construct one longer expression. Examples of linking words. Let's write. However. Examples of linking words. However. Whereas. Whereas. Meanwhile. While. Contrarily. On the other hand, more so.
Sorry, you just say on the other hand. That's like a sentence.
Yes, it's not. It's a phrase. No, it's not a sentence yet. Okay. Now these are some of the linking words you can use to express yourself. Now, before we proceed, I'd like to find out from us what you feel about some of those words and how and when you think they should be used. I'll begin with the first word. However, right? When do we use, oh, madam? Madam, when do we use however? No idea? When can we use however? No idea.
Can be
Okay, you don't know when. When can we use however? Sir, when can we use however?
When we're giving options.
Not really. When can we use however?
When you want to make a suggestion. However.
You understand when you are not explaining it well. Ma'am, how can we use and when can we use however?
Ahmed is a bright and sound child. I'm trying to connect it. But however, he has some challenges, physical challenges that is affecting his academics.
Did you say but however?
Yes. It's a plus that has a problem.
Yes, both shouldn't come in.
However.
However is okay. So you have just given me an example.
So what-
My question was, when do we apply the word however? In what
in
situation?
a contradicting situation.
Hmm?
In a contradicting situation where
If you want to refute,
To give
You're very
additional,
correct.
to give additional information.
Very correct. When you want to contradict something you have established, do we understand this? In as much as I ought to say, give advanced expression, don't just blow grammar anyhow. Ensure you are using the words appropriately in the right context. When do we use the expression whereas? Whereas, madam. Chief, when can we use whereas? When can we use? When can we?
What I know is not
When
what
making
I'm
comparisons.
Not really comparison, no. Not really comparison. Now, when can we use whereas?
whereas this okay, where can we use it?
When?
I'm going to give example again. We can use it when we're trying to differentiate a thing.
When you are contradicting. Thank you. You are right, but I'm trying to make us use the right word now.
I said contradicting, so I'm trying to get another word.
Thank you.
Contradicting.
Oh, don't worry. Go and receive your higher certificate. So, whereas is used to contradict, to contrast something you have said. He told his parents he has gone to school, whereas he's still in his friend's house.
That's the example I want to give.
Do you understand? So, you must know when to apply the word in your sentence. Now, let me go very straight to while, the word while. When can we use it? Okay. When can we use the word while? It's similar to whereas. While, while to contrast, to contradict. When can we use meanwhile both? But they are two different. They are two different words. Meanwhile is a word of its own. While is a word of its own. Do you understand me? Are you confused? Right. Now, when can we use the word contrary? Advanced, very straightforward.
To give another opinion.
Thank you, Beth. When can we use the word contrary? Contrary.
When comparing.
You like that comparing? Contrary. When can we use it?
you want to differentiate.
Differentiate.
Please answer on a file.
From the word contrary. From the word contrary. What does it mean?
Another thing.
To refute. Contrary. To oppose. Do you understand? So these are things you want to learn to bring in when you're writing. Let's go to the next, sequencers. Who can explain what sequencer or what sequencers are? You can try.
There was to list or to To list or
To list. That's to give.
examples in sequence.
Words that generally follow each other.
Thank you, sir.
Words that generally follow each other.
Words that generally follow each other. Are there words that generally follow each other?
Yes.
Example?
Either or.
Well, please. It depends. Either could be used in a sentence without bringing in or. Are we aware? More than. Okay, more. But more can still be used without than.
Yes.
So it depends on the context. Please, we must always understand it depends on the context. So sequencers are words or phrases that are used to either begin a sentence or paragraph or introduce an additional idea in a paragraph. Sequencers are words or phrases that are used to either begin a sentence or a paragraph or introduce an additional idea in a sentence or a paragraph. Please, do we understand this? Do you understand it? Sequencers are words or phrases that can be used to either begin a sentence or a paragraph, or they are words or phrases that can be used to introduce an additional idea in a paragraph. Very straightforward. Now, what does this mean? You are asked to discuss something, or you are asked to establish reasons, and then you are starting with the first idea in the first paragraph. Right? You are saying something like, first and foremost, you start the first point. Right? Then full stop. Thank you. Furthermore, the same paragraph. Do you understand?
Introducing something
Can
inside.
you say, instead of furthermore, can you say
Introducing another word.
Pardon?
You're introducing a new word.
A new idea.
Into a sentence.
In same paragraph. In the same paragraph. So, yes, your question. You said instead of using furthermore, can we use secondly? It is common. IELTS says avoid overly or commonly used words and expressions. Avoid them. Overly and commonly used words and expressions, avoid them. Ordinarily, I would have said firstly, right? But I said first and foremost sounds a lot more English. I would have said secondly, it's common. Furthermore, additionally, please, I'm giving you examples of sequencers right now. First and foremost, furthermore, additionally, consequently, subsequently, nonetheless, is one word though. You can use hyphen in between each of them. Nevertheless, notwithstanding, contrarily, shall we give them see because the government is spent. Contrarily, I feel you'll be straining your eyes. Have we taken contrarily?
Yes.
All right, next we have summarily. Summarily. Taken. Conclusively. Conclusively taken. In light of the above. That's not one word, so please bring in your situations. In light is not one word. In light of the above. Okay. So please, these are some of the sequencers you can use. Let's also understand situations or scenarios when you can use some of them. When can you use the word or expression first and foremost? To begin. Furthermore, additionally, more.
So after furthermore, you can have additional
In the same paragraph. When can we use the word consequently? Majino? Consequently? Consequently? Consequently. In what situation? In what situation can we use consequently? In what situation can we use consequently?
When giving reason for an action.
Thank you. The resultant effect, right? Of something. Do you understand? When you are describing a situation and then you want to talk about what that thing led to, you don't say as a result, that's common. Bible says show us something like that. So you say what? Consequently. Do you understand this? In what situation do we use the word subsequently? Subsequently. I don't understand though. This IELTS class, what's happening now? Are you beginning to doubt your English?
Yes. Yes.
For the next.
Thank you.
For the next.
Thank you. This year, the slogan is what?
No grief for you.
Blow it in. Don't worry yourself, but ensure that it sounds English in the context you're saying. So, subsequently means in furtherance, right? The next. So you are talking about things that came afterwards. In what situation can we use contrarily? Madam, contrarily.
Propose.
Let the beach meet, eh? I want her to also share because I know we talked about that. So I want to see if she remember what was said. Okay, so contrarily, when you are contradicting or contrasting something, right? In what situation can we use the expression or the word summarily? When you are trying to conclude, when you are trying to round up. Thank you. Summarily. When do we use conclusively? So.
And
Yeah, concluding.
When you are concluding. When do we use in light of the above?
To describe more of the previous.
To describe more. Does that not give you additional detail or information?
To describe the previous.
No.
In light of the above?
To give more information on the previous.
In light of the above?
Enable the reader pay attention that that thing, in light of the above, whatever that person wrote, it's the end of what we're doing.
You see,
Pay attention.
when you see civil servants who do some talk, who make presentations, you will know.
You're not serious.
You will know. Now let's tell you, that day we gave you the promotion exam. Okay, very correct. So if you're using in light of the above, you are telling whoever is reading whatever you've written that having said all the above.
Previously.
Do you understand? So you now want to go straight to your recommendation or whatever. Yes, please. All right. So those are some of the sequences you are meant to bring in during your writing test. Let's look at the last one under the advanced expressions. We have idiomatic expressions. Now, what are idiomatic expressions? Idiomatic expressions. Any idea? Idiomatic expressions. Idiomatic expressions? Any idea?
They are like sentence that can give another meaning.
Sentence. Sentence.
Or words.
Words or
Words or
phrases
phrases.
that mean something other than what they actually represent.
Thank you. Any addition?
And what that you can't interfere, or what that you can interfere with.
I really don't get that.
Yes, like you said, gives another meaning. You said there are words you can't interfere with, there are words you can't give the same meaning to another.
All right, thank you. Idioms, idiomatic expressions. They are words, phrases, or ideologies or expressions that don't mean what they seem. Right? They have deeper meanings compared to what they appear to be or mean. Now, in your writing test, even in your speaking test, whatever was written here, apply them in your speaking, please. The only difference between the written aspect and the speaking test is the English believe that contractions during your spoken English proves your high level of exposure and understanding of English. Do you know what contractions are? Do you know what contractions are? Contractions? That's the opposite. Contractions. Compressive. Contractions. When you're writing something, in essay writing, avoid contractions. Gabadaya, like
Contradict, right? Like contradictory words.
no, contractions.
Small words.
Look at it. In formal write-up, whatever thing you're writing or doing that is formal. For instance, you must express it in full. The contraction will be, that's can't. That's contraction. You are strongly advised to express yourself showing off contractions during your speaking test. During speaking test, please. But in the written, in your essay, in your formal letters, in your semi-formal, don't bring in contractions for anything to drop your score, to drop your mark. Please don't forget this one. In formal letter or semi-formal letter or essay,
So cannot.
is what you have
What
to
you
write
have
if
to
you want to
write.
express cannot.
That's when writing.
Yes.
When speaking, you can use the can't.
Can't is better off during your speaking test. Please.
But if I still use cannot,
It's
still
okay,
use-
but it means you are not exposed in English. I want you to understand that. They believe that someone who have in-depth knowledge and good command of English cannot say, I cannot go there. I can't go there. It's better, it's sweet, it's shorter. Please understand this. So, when you are expressing yourself in idioms will help you to indicate or show off that you have good, in-depth understanding of English, great command of English language. Because you don't mean to express yourself to a layman, that's why you're using idiom. So IELTS sees you as someone who is well exposed. Examples of idioms. She kicked the bucket. She kicked the bucket. But now, a layman will look at it. Why will she kick the bucket now? Right? The person does not know that kicking the bucket means Otilo, right? It's a gunner. So it's an idiomatic expression that does not mean what it seems.
You can say it's abstract. It's an abstract word.
Yes, sort of. Right? Sort of. So it's more rhetorical. So when you express it, ensure that it is right in the context you are using it. Don't just bring she kicked the bucket when you are discussing somebody who is well. Right? So please, learn to bring those words or expressions in the right situations. More examples of idiomatic expressions. A stitch in time saves
9.
how many?
9.
9, Abi. A stitch in time saves 9. Once beaten.
Twice.
Nigeria is more than twice. Once beaten, twice shy. Right? More examples. Birds of a feather.
Flock together.
Okay, so we say that the same amount. Birds of a feather flock together. Okay. More examples. Shall be put in a family way. What does that mean?
She's married.
She's married.
Pregnant.
She's not married though. That's happened. Shall be put in a family way. He who laughs last.
No,
I thought it's a stammerer. He who laughs last laughs best. Those are some of the idiomatic expressions you can use. Okay, you can bring in so many others. So many others. Just ensure that they are correct, they are right in the context you are using them. They will help you to be a lot more advanced in your spoken English as well as your written English. Okay, so let's go to the next level. The IELTS examiners.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
More examples that you give, those examples that you give. I want us to have more of this can't, cannot examples. It's it. It is also part of the contradictions. Yes. So it's. Yes. All this kind of work. That's.
What's the difference between the two?
Are they part of the contradictions of the idiomatic expression?
One is an example of contraction. Another is not. So who can identify the difference?
It is. It's.
The second one is describing it.
Okay, let's describe by saying the one with apostrophe and the one without apostrophe. So who can describe?
The one with apostrophe and the one.
And the one up is a contraction of it is, right? What about the one without apostrophe?
Yes, it's the contraction of it's the one with apostrophe.
Or is another contraction of the one with
But
apostrophe?
me, I feel this doesn't.
That one is not
Count.
the correct word to me.
It's not.
The correct word to me.
It's not a correct word.
To me.
So what do you think?
It's not like
What do you think? Please teach us. What do you think?
I don't think anything.
What now? Now, it's a correct word. They are all correct. This is a contraction of this.
But that was what I said.
Yes. Now I'm trying to explain generally. This is the contraction of this. This is a third person singular pronoun.
Okay.
Third person singular pronoun. I'm taking this to primary school.
How does it work? That's why I'm confused.
The lion killed its cub. The snake swallowed its baby. The dog, the dog wagged, is that what you call it?
Tail, yeah.
Its tail. It's third person singular pronoun. Should I take you through the pronouns?
Yes. Please do. Please do. Take us.
Some things you think you can still remember are far gone. I tell you. So when I see people that say they don't want to go for IELTS class, and I'm like, alright, that's fine. It's fine. Okay, when you take those people through the rudiments of English, they can't remember. So how do you want to show off when you're writing the IELTS? There is what we call in French conjugation. Conjugation is a borrowed word into English, meaning conjugation. Is the breaking down of verbs into their applications alongside pronouns. Let's take for instance, sorry, we just have to deviate slightly, or digress slightly. Now, here, good morning. Okay, so right here we have,
Can I sit?
anywhere. Right here we have the pronouns. Now, this is the first person singular pronoun. I. Can you remember this? Use it to make sentence. How can you use this word I? Is this a word? Sorry. Is this a word?
When counting.
Man, is that a word? Letter I?
Yes.
Is a word. Letter I. What now? Is it not just
It's an alphabet.
sir?
An alphabet.
Morning breakfast. Is that a word?
It's a phrase.
It's
Yes, it's a word.
a sentence.
It's a word. I is a complete word.
Is a word?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that a word? Ma, is that a word? That is an I.
I count it when I'm writing essay, counting my words.
Okay, but is it a word?
I don't know, I feel so. If it's not a word, write it there.
Okay. Okay.
That's when they say 500
Words, they count even on the system counts that.
All right. Now let me explain something to us. This is a letter and also a word. It is a letter. It is also a word. And because it is a word, it's not just a word. It's a senior word.
It's a what?
A senior word. Why do we call it a senior word? There is nowhere in any English expression that you're expressing I that you write it this way. It should be wrong. Don't forget this if you've been doing it before. Wherever you are expressing it to refer to yourself, I.
The beginning of a sentence.
Anywhere, whether at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, wherever it appears, as long as it's standing alone as a word, please give it the respect it needs. It has to be in capital letter. In capital letter. Don't do this. Examiner will back you wrong. Not just exam, anywhere. Please, do you understand?
Even when you're writing in a small letter or you just
Anywhere, whether at the beginning of a sentence, in the middle of a sentence, at the end of a sentence, as long as you are referring to I, it must be in capital, please. Now, this is a word. How can you apply this word to conjugate the verb this is what? I'm taking us back to primary school. I hope we're okay with that.
Very good.
Verb to be. What's verb to be? What does it mean? What you want to become? That's your profession. Your future ambition.
Sorry, please, can I ask a question not related? Are they different? This is my first day. I'm supposed to be.
You missed Thursday, Friday.
Yes. So, and I heard the time is 11 to 2. So I
11 to 1.
11 to 1. So there's another class for 11 to 1.
Yes.
Or this is the class.
No, this is supposed to be 9 to 11.
Okay, so I'm
Yes.
ready.
And you are early. Okay. How do we conjugate, or what does the word the verb to be? What does it mean?
please can you come again?
Verb to be. Verb to be.
An action word? So doing the word. Action.
What does it mean?
I don't understand. To be okay, you want the meaning
Verb to be. How do you
Say
conjugate?
doing. It's an action, it's an act of I don't know. You want me to put in a sentence?
Yes, using the word I. I. Conjugate that verb to be using the word I.
I to be.
I would be.
What's it on?
To be
I have to understand the question to answer it.
The question
I'm
is,
trying to understand the question.
let me explain it.
To be I.
To be I.
I want to be that too.
You see, the truth is, we speak English, but we don't know the English we speak. What's the correct answer is, you have even said it, you don't even know that you've paraphrased. Now, my question was, this verb to be, how do you conjugate it to align with first person singular pronoun, I?
I am.
Thank you. That's what it means. You don't know the origin of the
I
English
don't
you speak.
understand the question.
No.
It's the
There's no other way I can ask you.
No. If you say to be, now it's not. I was thinking you want to be part of the thing. You should have said no.
Okay, how would how am I supposed to ask the
You
question?
know, that is this to be that they are confused the question. You are now giving us real IELTS.
No, how do you, he said, how do you
Conjugate?
to-
How do you
to
apply
be?
this in the real English to use this pronoun?
That's why I said to be I.
To be I.
It's not about to be I. You just answered.
Do we understand?
Uh,
When you conjugate it, we are not breaking this verb down to align with the pronouns. That's what the French call
I am.
conjugation. I am, je suis. I am. So, I am right here. What about this guy?
You are.
You are. Or will you say you am? Now here, he
please.
and this guy,
Is.
she is.
It's already.
So here, we remove this guy. And it becomes what?
It is.
Right? Now, possessive pronoun. Am I allowed to swing you to places?
Yes.
Because we must arrive at what I started initially. I want to build something. So you've understood I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, and they are. Fine. Possessive pronoun. Possessive pronouns are pronouns that show what? Possession. Ownership, right? Now, the shoe belongs to me. What's the possessive pronoun for that? The shoes belong to me. How do you express that? Showing possessive pronoun.
The Shoes
own.
are mine.
The shoes are. What's the possessive pronoun there?
Mine.
Thank you. I'm going somewhere now. This is what? You. Right? So, it belongs to you. It is what?
Yours.
The shoes belong to you. They are yours. They are
Yours.
yours. Possessive pronoun. The shoes belong to him. They are his. How do you spell it, sir?
H-I-S.
Thank you. The shoes belong to her. They are
Hers.
they are
Hers.
hers.
For English, get one down. See, you know, on a normal day, it's correct, this HIS, and then, but a layman can actually use that HES.
That HES is contraction.
Yes, I know.
His.
I'm just trying to understand the contraction of English.
Now this is why you are being quiet. You want to show that you are not a layman. Right?
Amen.
But this one is not even more used.
Huh? That's contraction for he is.
It's not,
That's
it's not used. This one
Now,
is more used.
His, hers.
That's you, your knowledge
Depends
of
on the sentence now.
Okay, right here.
It's told.
Let's come to what brought us to this point. The shoes are for the dog.